Cecilia Bonefeld-Dahl is Director General of Digital Europe, which is the trade body for European tech firms. She does join us here. Cecilia, just to take you back from that to that comment there about Klarna listing, I mean, why wouldn't you want to list in the US?
Well, I think one of the breakthrough moments today in her speech from the President Ursula von der Leyen was really also an acknowledgement that Europe really needs to do something about its tech investment. And it was one of those moments where industry and policymakers really agree on what is the problem of Europe in tech, and that is the scalability of investment. So how do we actually get the scalability of investment in the digital area? And how do we untangle the spaghetti bowl of digital regulation that has been enforced and is still to be enforced in Europe? So the simplification agenda, cutting the regulatory burden, and really investing heavy. That was basically what we heard from Ursula von der Leyen today. We are missing investments and large-scale investments in the digital area across the European Union, and she's ready to solve that. And this is exactly what the CEOs were calling for. How do we basically look at some of these large-scale investments in digital that we are needing? And we're very happy to hear about the competitiveness fund, the scale-up fund that will be launched by the Commission, and the omnibuses that will cut the regulatory burden of Europe, because that is exactly what industry is needing and what the over 40 CEOs was calling for.
So how are you going to stop a third of European unicorns relocating, as they say, 800 billion euro investment gap and no 100 billion euro company founded in Europe over the last 50 years?
Well, it is a challenge, and a good start is basically to focus at having these scale up, risk willing capital and investments, and the CEOs, as they said, we are ready to co-invest, but we do need to cut the regulatory burden, and we do need to see, directed investments in the digital area. What we have seen is basically that no European company with a valuation over 100 billion has been founded in Europe in the last 50 years. And this is what policymakers, the European Commission, and the CEOs are looking at. How can we solve that? And there is a great commitment from the European CEOs to invest in these areas with the right conditions. And right now we are looking at how we can untangle that.
But when you say the right conditions, what needs to happen? Just what's the first step?
The first step is to look at large scale investment across the different member states. Right now, most investments are happening in Sweden, in Denmark, in Germany, in France. But how do we make scalable investment programs across the union? How do we address, for example, quantum, drone technologies, connectivity, health tech at a much larger scale? How do we also create the conditions, meaning cutting the regulatory burden and making sure that we're not spending our money on lawyers, but that we are spending them on innovators
Yes.
and scalability?
Okay.
We don't have an innovation problem. We have a scalability problem.
Scalability problem. Cecilia Bonefeld-Dahl, Director General of Digital Europe. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much.